The sound was faint, like a slow heartbeat echoing through a machine. Jacob stirred, his body heavy as if a mountain was pressing on his chest. His eyes opened, but the light was too bright. He blinked again and again until the shapes around him became clear. The ceiling was not human, not Earth. It glowed softly with strange patterns that moved like liquid. Machines hummed near his ears, long metal arms holding tubes connected to his body. He felt weak, his muscles stiff as if he had not moved in years. Then he heard the voice, calm yet worried. "Careful, human. Do not move too fast." The voice was soft, not robotic, but alive. He turned his head with great effort and saw her. An alien, tall with pale blue skin, her large dark eyes shining with concern. She wore silver robes with glowing lines running through them like veins. Jacob tried to speak, but only a croak came out. The alien leaned closer. "Do not strain yourself, you have been in a coma for a long time." She paused, her expression heavy. "Over 20 years. The word struck him harder than any blow. 20 years? His mind raced. He was just an engineer from Earth. The last thing he remembered was the accident. A bright explosion during the test flight. Then darkness. Now this. 20 years lost. He tried to sit up, but his body refused. The alien touched. A panel and the bed adjusted, lifting him slowly. "I am Lyra," she said. "Your supervisor during recovery. I have been watching over your chamber all this time." Her voice trembled slightly, as if afraid he might hate her for what she had done. Jacob's throat finally allowed a whisper. "Earth, what happened to Earth?" His voice was rough. Unused for decades, Lyra looked away. Her silence made the machines feel louder. "So much has changed," she said at last. "But you must recover first before I can explain everything." "No," Jacob said, his voice shaking with both weakness and stubbornness. "Tell me. 20 years. I need to know." Lyra sighed, her alien shoulders slumping. "The galaxy is not as it was when you closed your eyes. Humanity is not as it was. The Council does not wish for you to remember right away. They believe truth may harm your recovery." Jacob clenched his fists, though they felt frail. "Council? What council?" She hesitated again, then whispered. "The Galactic Council. They rule the central worlds now, and they do not trust humans. They remember the wars, the chaos, the fire your kind once brought. That is why you must be careful. Do not show them too much of your strength too quickly." His heart pounded. He had been asleep, powerless, and yet his kind had been judged. He wanted answers, but his body betrayed him, every breath a fight. Still, something burned inside him. An ember of human will. Lyra's eyes softened. She leaned closer. "I kept you alive, Jacob, against their orders, against their doubts. I believed you would wake, and now you have. But please, move slowly. There are those who wish you never opened your eyes again." The word sent a chill through him. He was not safe, even here in this strange chamber. He studied her face, trying to read her alien features. Was she friend or another? Jailer? His voice broke the silence. "Why me? Why keep me alive?" Lyra's lips tightened. "Because humans are different. You are unpredictable, strong in ways others are not. I believe you will be needed soon, though I do not yet know how." She stood taller, her robe glowing faintly in the dim light. "But you must not let the Council see too much of this, or they will end what I have fought for." Jacob tried again to rise, his arms trembling. Sweat ran down his forehead. Lyra reached out, steadying him with her long fingers. Her touch was surprisingly gentle. "Do not fight your body. 20 years in sleep does not vanish in a single hour." His breath came heavy, but his mind sharpened. Every word she spoke planted more questions than answers. Earth, the Council, her secret. Loyalty, he could not stay passive. The machines beeped suddenly, one of the tubes shifting as if reacting to his strain. Lyra quickly adjusted the panel again, speaking in her own alien tongue. The lights on the wall dimmed, the sound eased. She glanced at him with urgency. "They will know you are awake soon. The monitors are linked to their systems. Once they see this, they will come. Jacob's heart skipped. He had no strength to fight, not yet. And yet, deep inside, he knew this was the beginning. His eyes locked with Lyra's, and though she was alien, he saw something human in her gaze. Fear mixed with hope. She leaned closer, whispering with a voice only he could hear. When they come, say little, show nothing, trust me. For now. Jacob swallowed hard, forcing a nod. Suspense wrapped around him like a tightening chain. He was a man out of time, a human who had lost 20 years, and yet somehow he felt this was only the start. The door hissed open, shadows moving in the corridor beyond. Jacob's weak hands gripped the edge of the bed as his heart pounded. The alien supervisor stood tall, her silver robe glowing like a shield. The moment of truth had arrived, and Jacob understood one thing clearly. Whatever waited beyond that door, his life would never be the same again. The aliens entered the room, their steps echoing on the metal floor. Jacob froze, his body weak but his mind racing. They were tall and thin, their faces sharp with markings that glowed faintly under the lights. Their robes shimmered with colors he had never seen on Earth. Each of them carried a small device at their side. Not quite a weapon, but something close. Lyra bowed her head slightly, her voice calm. The human is awake. The tallest alien, his eyes like polished stone, stepped closer. He looked at Jacob as one might study a dangerous animal. 20 years he slept, the alien said. And now, finally, he opens his eyes. Jacob felt the weight of their stares. His throat was dry, but he forced himself to ask, what happened in all that time? What about Earth? The alien tilted his head, his expression unreadable. Earth changed, he said slowly. Your world is no longer what you remember. Lyra glanced at Jacob, as if warning him not to push too hard. But Jacob's heart ached. The last thing he remembered was the explosion, the stars, and then darkness. Now 20 years had been stolen, he needed to know. The tall alien folded his hands behind his back. Earth chose war, as humans always do. His voice carried both contempt and pity. Empires rose and fell. Nations tore themselves apart. The planet you knew is no longer a great voice in the galaxy. It is silent. Jacob's chest tightened. He thought of his family, his friends, people he once worked with. Were they gone? Did they think he had died? The thought crushed him. Silent? Jacob asked in a low voice. You mean destroyed? No, the alien replied coldly. But broken, scattered. Your species has not vanished, but it no longer matters in the decisions of the stars. Jacob's fists trembled on the bed. He wanted to argue, to shout, but his body betrayed him. He could only glare at the alien, his human spirit burning even in weakness. The second alien, smaller but sharper in tone, stepped forward. He should not have been kept alive, she said. He belongs to an age that has passed. Why wake? A relic when the galaxy has moved on? Lyra's voice grew firm, her usual softness gone. Because humans do not break so easily, because he may still be needed. The aliens exchanged looks, their glowing markings flickering like signals. They said nothing more, but Jacob could feel their judgment hanging in the air. After a tense silence, they turned and left. The door hissed shut again, leaving only Lyra and Jacob in the quiet hum of the chamber. Jacob leaned his head back against the pillow, his chest rising and falling. Heavily, they talk like humanity is finished, he whispered. But that's not true. It can't be true. Lyra sat beside him, her tall frame folding gracefully. It is not finished, she said softly. But the Council has erased your people from history where they could. They remember only the wars and the chaos, not the strength, not the hope. Jacob closed his eyes for a moment. He remembered Earth's blue skies, the crowded streets, the smell of rain on pavement. How could all that be forgotten? 20 years, he muttered. Everyone I knew is either gone or older now. My life is gone. Lyra looked at him carefully, her dark eyes reflecting sorrow. I will not lie to you, Jacob. The years cannot be returned, But you are not. Useless, the council may fear you, but I believe you still carry something they cannot replace. Jacob turned to face her. Why me? Why fight for me when the others wanted me gone? Her voice lowered, almost a whisper. Because I saw something in you when they first brought you in. You were not afraid, even on the edge of death. Your kind has something no alien can fully understand. I believe that is why you must live. The words gave Jacob a spark of strength. He still felt broken, but not defeated. He gripped the blanket, forcing his weak arms to hold tighter. Tell me everything, Jacob demanded, his voice hoarse but strong. Tell me what happened in those years I lost. Lyra hesitated, her long fingers brushing against the glowing lines of her robe. If I tell you all, you may not sleep again. Your spirit may burn too brightly, and the council will see it. They will destroy you before you even stand on your own feet. Jacob's eyes hardened. Then let them try. For a moment, silence stretched between them. The hum of machines filled the chamber. Lyra studied him, her alien gaze steady. Then, slowly, she nodded. Very well, she said, her voice steady now. But know this. Every truth I give you carries danger, and every memory of your lost years may become a weapon against you. Jacob breathed deeply, his chest heavy but his heart unbroken. He was weak in body, but his spirit sharpened like steel. 20 years were gone, stolen from him. But he would not let them erase his people. He would not let them erase him, and as Lyra began to speak of the lost years, of wars, betrayals, and shadows spreading across the stars, Jacob knew his awakening was not the end of his story. It was the beginning of a struggle greater than he had ever imagined. The room was dim, only the soft glow of the machines lighting Jacob's face. He sat propped up by pillows, his body still frail, but his mind burning with restless questions. Lyra stood near the door, her tall figure half hidden in the shifting shadows. She had spoken of lost years, of earth forgotten, but Jacob knew she was holding back. He watched her silently for a long moment. You're not telling me everything, he said, his voice rough but steady. Lyra's hands tightened around the glowing lines of her robe. She did not turn at first, her head slightly bowed. There are things I cannot say, she whispered. If the council learns what I have done, they will strip me of everything, and you will not live to see another dawn. Jacob's jaw clenched. Then why risk it? Why keep me alive when they wanted me gone? Finally she turned, her dark eyes reflecting the soft blue glow. Because you are more than a patient to me, Jacob. You are a key, though you do not yet know it. Her words cut through the air. Heavy and sharp, Jacob leaned forward, ignoring the weakness in his body. A key to what? Lyra hesitated, her gaze flickering toward the sealed door. Then she stepped closer, lowering her voice. There is a war coming, not one of armies and fleets, but of survival itself. The galaxy is sick. Shadows move between the stars. Empires tremble, and yet the council hides the truth. They believe humans cannot be trusted with power, but I believe humans are the only ones who might endure what is coming. Jacob's heart pounded. He had been asleep for 20 years, yet somehow the galaxy expected him to play a role in its fate. It felt unreal, and yet her eyes told him she believed every word. You kept me alive for this? Jacob asked, disbelief in his voice. To use me as a weapon? No, Lyra said quickly, shaking her head. Not a weapon, but a spark. Humans have something the others do not. Resilience, chaos, the will to rise even in ashes. I saw it in you when your broken body was brought here after the explosion. You should have died that day, but you clung to life, and I could not let that flame be extinguished. Jacob's mind returned to the memory of the explosion, the fire, the sudden blackness. He remembered the taste of smoke, the ringing in his ears, and then nothing. The idea that she had chosen to fight for his life while others voted to end it stirred something deep inside him. You defied your own council, Jacob muttered. For me? Yes, she said, her voice steady now. Every month they ordered me to disconnect your life support. They said you were wasting resources, that you were a danger if you woke. But I lied. I changed the records. I stood before them and told, Them your systems were unstable, that waking you would cause disaster, and so I kept you hidden, waiting for the day you would open your eyes. Jacob stared at her, stunned. He could almost see the years of struggle in the faint lines on her face, the quiet defiance she had carried alone. Why risk everything for one human? He asked softly. Lyra's eyes softened, and for the first time her voice trembled. Because I believe the galaxy has forgotten what hope feels like. The Council governs with fear and memory of old wars. But you remind me that change is still possible. The silence between them grew heavy. Jacob shifted, the tubes pulling slightly against his arm. If what you say is true, then they will come for me, won't they? Lyra nodded. Yes, and soon already they are restless. They wanted you silent forever, but now you breathe. Now you speak. And that terrifies them. Jacob exhaled slowly, his weakness pressing on him like chains. Yet inside, something unbreakable, stirred. For 20 years he had slept, forgotten, but now he was awake and he would not go quietly. Then we don't have much time, Jacob said, his voice gaining strength. If you believe humans are needed, then tell me what I must do. Lyra's tall frame bent slightly closer, her silver robe brushing against the floor. First you must live. That may sound simple, but it is not. There will be attempts to end you before you walk again. They will poison your food, cut your air, or simply vote to have you erased. That is the nature of fear. Jacob's eyes narrowed. And you'll protect me? Her lips curved in a faint, almost sad smile. As long as I can. But I am only one, Jacob. They watch me too. And if they discover the truth, even I may not survive. The machines hummed louder, one of the monitors blinking red for a moment. Before calming, Lyra glanced at it with unease, then turned back to him. The next days will decide everything. Whether you remain as a relic on a bed, or rise to remind them what it means to be human. Jacob gripped the blanket tighter, his knuckles white, his body was frail, his legs numb, but in his heart he felt a fire. He would not let them erase him. He would not let 20 years be wasted. Then I will rise, Jacob whispered, his voice steady despite his weakness. I don't care how long it takes. I will stand again, and when I do, they will see humanity is not finished. Lyra's eyes shone with something rare for her kind, a flicker of pride mixed with fear. She reached out, her hand resting gently on his arm. Then I was right to keep you alive, she said softly. And in that moment, Jacob understood. The secret she carried was not only defiance against her council, but faith in something even greater. Faith. In him the chamber lights dimmed as if the world itself was holding its breath. Jacob lay back, his mind sharp, his body aching, and his heart ready. Whatever storm was coming, he knew he would face it, not as a relic of the past, but as a human, unbroken by time. The day came faster than Jacob expected. One moment he was still struggling to regain strength, forcing his muscles to move against years of sleep, and the next, Lyra was standing at his side, her robe glowing faintly as she whispered, "They have summoned you." Jacob's heart thudded. He was not ready, his body still weak. But there was no choice. The Galactic Council had noticed, and when they called, no one could refuse. 2 guards entered the chamber, aliens taller than Lyra, their armor gleaming with sharp ridges. Each carried a staff that pulsed with faint energy. Their eyes lingered on Jacob with suspicion. One of them hissed, "The human walks, or he is carried. Either way, the council waits." Lyra helped Jacob to his feet. His legs trembled, pain shooting through his bones, but he clenched his jaw and forced himself upright. He would not let them see weakness. Not now. The walk through the corridors felt endless. The walls were alive with glowing veins of light, shifting as if the ship itself breathed. Jacob kept his head high, even though sweat ran down his face. Lyra walked close, her expression calm, but her eyes tense. Finally, the doors opened, revealing a vast chamber. It was shaped like a circle, the ceiling vanishing into shadow. In the center stood a platform, and around it, rows of towering seats carved from dark stone. Upon each seat sat a figure, alien lords from different worlds, their eyes fixed on him. The air was heavy, filled with whispers in tongues he did not understand. Jacob stepped forward, his steps echoing on the platform. Lyra stayed behind, her presence silent but steady. A voice thundered, "Jacob of Earth, human of the old world, you stand before the council." The speaker was an elder alien, his skin silver like molten metal, his eyes blazing with light. His tone carried authority that silenced the whispers. Jacob raised his chin. "Then speak." The elder's gaze pierced him. "You have been asleep for 20 years, and in that time your kind has fallen. Earth is no longer a power among the stars. Its people are scattered, its name spoken only with fear and contempt." Jacob's fists tightened. He wanted to shout, but he held himself back. He would not give them the satisfaction of seeing him break. The elder continued, "We debated long ago whether to end you. The supervisor who stands behind you defied us, and now you are awake. The question is simple. What use are you to this galaxy?" Murmurs rose among the seats. Some voices hissed words like dangerous and unpredictable. Others muttered relic and waste. Jacob's eyes burned with fire. He forced his body to straighten. "I am human," he said, his voice steady. "That is enough." Laughter rippled across the chamber, cruel and sharp. One alien leaned forward, his mouth filled with needle-like teeth. "Enough? Your kind burned your own world, fought endless wars, destroyed more than you built. You are a reminder of failure, nothing more." Jacob's chest heaved, but before he could speak, another voice cut in, calm yet sharp. "And yet, his people survived longer than most races could dream. They adapted to every trial, to every storm. Perhaps that is why we still fear them." The chamber grew silent. Jacob's eyes scanned the council, trying to find who had spoken, but none stepped forward. The elder raised his hand, silencing the whispers. "Human, you must hear this warning. You walk among us only because you breathe still. But if you raise a hand against this council, if you awaken the chaos of your kind again, we will erase you completely." The words echoed, heavy and final. Jacob felt the threat in every syllable. Slowly, he answered, "You think humans are chaos, but chaos is not always destruction. Sometimes chaos is survival. It is fire, yes, but fire also brings light." The aliens shifted in their seats, some whispering with unease, others glaring with hate. Lyra's eyes widened slightly. Jacob had spoken boldly, perhaps too boldly. The elder's eyes narrowed. Bold words for one barely able to stand, perhaps. "You believe your spirit will protect you, but remember this. We are not afraid to kill legends, even ones that dare to rise again." Jacob's heart pounded, but he held the elder's gaze. His body was frail, but his spirit stood unshaken. He would not bow, not now, not ever. The council dismissed him with a wave of the elder's hand. The guard stepped forward, ready to lead him away. Jacob turned once, letting his voice carry across the chamber. "You fear humans because you know we will not vanish. You can erase our records, bury our names, but you cannot kill what we are. That is why I live. That is why I will rise." The chamber erupted. In furious whispers, the counselors leaned to one another, their markings glowing brighter with agitation. Lyra rushed to Jacob's side, whispering urgently, "Enough! You must leave now." The guards pulled him back, but Jacob walked as firmly as his weak body allowed. Each step felt like defiance, each breath like rebellion. When they reached the corridor again, Lyra's face was pale, her voice sharp with worry. "You should not have spoken so strongly. They will see you as a threat now. They will not rest until you are broken." Jacob glanced at her, his eyes hard. "Then let them try. 20 years they stole from me, but I am awake now, and I will not go back to silence." Lyra's lips pressed together. She saw the fire in him, and though fear gnawed at her, a small part of her felt hope too. Somewhere in the shadows of the council chamber, voices still whispered. Some feared him, others hated him. But one truth had been born in their minds: humanity was not finished, not while Jacob breathed. Jacob lay awake in the chamber long after the council had dismissed him. The words of their warning replayed again and again in his mind. They had called him dangerous, a relic, a spark of chaos. They feared him even though he could barely walk, and Jacob knew that fear was both a curse and a weapon. Lyra sat nearby, her tall form shadowed by the dim light. She had not spoken for hours, only watching, her eyes filled with worry. Finally, Jacob broke the silence. "They will come for me, won't they?" Her voice was quiet but certain. "Yes, they will not allow you to rise. They fear what you are more than they fear the darkness spreading in the stars." Jacob turned his gaze to her, his fists clenching weakly against the sheets. "Then I need to be ready. I can't sit here like some broken relic. I need to move. I need to fight." Lyra shook her head. "Your body has been asleep for 2 decades. Even standing drains you. If you push too hard, you will break yourself before they do." Jacob's lips twisted in a stubborn smile. "Humans don't break easy, Lyra. That's the thing about us. You can starve us, beat us, bury us, but we claw our way back. It's instinct." Her eyes softened, but worry still lingered. She leaned forward. "Instinct may keep you alive, Jacob, but instinct alone cannot protect you from what waits beyond these walls." Jacob pushed himself upright, pain lancing. Through his muscles, his body screamed for rest, but he ignored it. He grabbed the edge of the bed, pulling himself to stand. His knees shook, but he locked them in place. Lyra rose quickly. "Jacob, stop, you'll collapse." "Then I'll collapse standing," he muttered, sweat dripping down his face. For long moments he balanced there, trembling like a tree in a storm but not falling. His breaths came hard, but there was fire in his eyes. "See?" Still standing, Lyra's chest rose and fell, her expression unreadable. Slowly, she nodded. "This is what they fear." Jacob chuckled weakly. "Good, let them." Over the next days, he forced himself to move more. Each step was agony, his muscles burning as if they had been filled with lead. Yet with every step he grew stronger. He stumbled, fell, bled, but rose again. That was the human way. Lyra watched in silence, sometimes helping, sometimes testing him by offering no support. She saw his will pushing his broken body beyond reason, and though fear gnawed at her, admiration grew as well. One night, as Jacob practiced walking the length of the chamber, alarms blared, red lights flared along the walls. Lyra's head snapped up, her voice sharp. "They are coming." Jacob's pulse surged. "The council." "No," Lyra said, her face pale. "Assassins, sent in silence so no records remain. If they kill you now, it will be as if you never lived." The door hissed, and shadows slipped through. 3 figures clad in black armor, their eyes glowing, faintly. They moved like predators, silent and fast, weapons flashing in their hands. Jacob's body ached, but instinct took over. He grabbed a metal stand near the bed, ripping it from the floor with a grunt of pain. His arms shook, but he held it like a staff. His heart roared louder than his fear. The first assassin lunged. Lyra struck with a burst of light from her palm, knocking the attacker back. The second moved toward Jacob, blade raised. Jacob swung the metal stand wildly, clashing against the weapon. Sparks flew. The impact rattled his bones, but he did not fall. The assassin pressed forward, stronger, faster. Jacob's knees buckled, but his eyes blazed. He roared and shoved forward with every ounce of strength left. The alien staggered, shocked by the ferocity of a body still recovering from 20 years of sleep. The third assassin aimed a weapon at Jacob, but Lyra intercepted. Her robe glowing as a shield of energy erupted. The blast shook the chamber, but she held. Jacob panted, sweat blinding him, but he did not let go of the metal stand. The assassin before him hissed and lunged again. Jacob ducked low, the blade grazing his shoulder. Pain flared, but instinct screamed louder. He jammed the stand upward, slamming it into the alien's chest. The attacker fell back with a sharp cry. Silence followed, broken only by the hum of machines and Jacob's ragged breaths. The assassins, wounded and stunned, retreated into the shadows. The door sealed behind them. Jacob collapsed to his knees. The stand clattering beside him, Lyra rushed forward, catching him before he fell. Her voice trembled with both anger and awe. You should not have survived that. You should not have been able to stand, let alone fight. Jacob coughed, blood on his lip, but he grinned. That's human instinct, Lyra. We fight even when we shouldn't. We rise even when it's impossible. She looked at him, her eyes shining with something unspoken. They will fear you more than ever now. Good, Jacob whispered, leaning against her arm. Let them see what happens when they underestimate a human. As Lyra helped him back to the bed, she realized the truth. The Council's warning was not just about fear of chaos, it was fear of exactly this. A broken human refusing to stay broken. A relic that refused to remain silent. And deep inside, Jacob felt it too. His body was weak, but his spirit was alive, sharper than ever. He had survived 20 years in darkness, and now he would fight for every moment left. The Council's warning no longer scared him. It only confirmed what he already knew. Humans were built to endure. The chamber felt colder after the assassins had gone. The machines still hummed, the lights still glowed, but Jacob sensed something deeper, a shadow hanging over everything. He lay back on the bed, his shoulder burning from the wound, yet his mind refused to rest. Lyra worked silently, cleaning the cut, her long fingers moving with careful precision. For a while, neither spoke. Then Jacob broke the silence, his voice low but steady. They're scared of me, but that wasn't just about me, was it? They're scared of something else. Lyra froze, her hand pausing over the bandage. Her eyes flicked up to his, and Jacob saw the hesitation there. You are not wrong, she whispered. But the truth is dangerous, Jacob. It is what the Council hides most fiercely. Jacob's gaze hardened. Tell me. I've already lost 20 years. I won't live in shadows anymore. Lyra sighed, her tall frame leaning back. The glow of her robe dimmed as if she carried the weight of her words. Very well, but once you know, you can never unknow. The galaxy is at war, though no one speaks of it aloud. Jacob frowned. War? Against who? Not who, Lyra said, her voice trembling slightly. What? There is a force moving through the stars, silent and relentless. They are not like us. Not like you. They are machines. Or something beyond machines. They consume worlds. Strip them bare and leave nothing behind. Jacob's chest tightened. He had seen war. He had lived through human battles. But this was different. This sounded like death itself wearing metal skin. The Council hides it, Lyra continued. They do not want panic. They tell the people that the shadows at the edges of space are myths. They silence those who speak too much. But I have seen the reports, I have seen the systems that went dark. Whole colonies gone. Jacob clenched his fists. And they waste their time trying to kill me? When something like that is out there, her eyes grew heavy. That is why I saved you, Jacob. The Council fears humans because they know your kind does not surrender easily. You adapt, you fight, you endure. If the hidden war reaches the heart of the galaxy, it will not be our diplomacy, or our fleets that decide survival. It may be the will to resist, the will your people carry. Jacob's mind spun. 20 years lost, Earth broken, the Council corrupt, and now a hidden war that threatened all life. His body still ached from every step, every breath, but his spirit flared with new fire. Why me? Jacob asked, his voice softer. Why put your faith in me when billions of others live out there? Lyra's gaze locked on him, unblinking. Because you woke, you were not meant to. They wanted you gone, but you refused to die. That alone makes you dangerous. That alone makes you different. Jacob leaned forward, ignoring the pain. Then tell me what I can do. If this war is real, then hiding me in this chamber won't change anything. I need to know how to fight. Lyra hesitated, her lips pressing tight. Finally, she whispered. There is something, but if you act on it, the Council will hunt you without mercy. They already see you as a threat. If you step into the hidden war, they will see you as an enemy. Jacob smirked weakly. I think they already do. She studied him for a long moment, then nodded. There are resistance cells, small groups that know the truth. They hide in the outer colonies, gathering fragments of knowledge, weapons, survivors. They cannot fight alone. But with you, Jacob interrupted. With me, they'll have a human who can barely stand. Lyra's voice sharpened. With you, they'll have a symbol. Humans rise when symbols lead them. You know this, Jacob. Your history is filled with it. Leaders who inspired, voices that refused silence. You could be that for them. Jacob felt the weight of her words, heavy but undeniable. He was no soldier, now not even a shadow of one. Yet inside him, instinct stirred. The same instinct that had helped him fight assassins. The same instinct that had kept him alive for 20 years in darkness. The hum of the machine seemed louder. Almost like a heartbeat. Jacob lifted his chin. Then show me where to start. If there's a war coming, I won't hide behind walls while others die. Lyra's expression softened, her dark eyes glimmering with something rare. Hope. You may not realize it yet, Jacob, but this is why I saved you. Not because you are strong now, but because you will be. Not because you are a warrior already, but because you can become one. Jacob let out a slow breath. His shoulder throbbed, his legs still weak, but his mind was sharper than ever. He had been a victim of lost years, but no longer. The galaxy was at war, and he would not sit idle. Suddenly, the chamber lights flickered. A warning tone echoed through the walls. Lyra's face hardened. The council knows the assassins failed. They will come again stronger, and when they do, you must be ready to leave this place. Jacob nodded slowly. Then let them come. If I have to crawl, I'll crawl, but I won't go back to being a silent ghost. The shadows in the corners of the chamber seemed deeper now, as if the war itself was watching, waiting. Jacob clenched his fists, fire burning in his chest. He was human, and humans were not built to surrender. The alarms had gone silent, but the silence was worse than noise. It was the kind of silence that pressed on the chest, that carried the promise of danger. Jacob sat on the edge of his bed, his body aching. His mind sharp. Lyra stood by the door, her tall frame tense, her eyes never leaving the shadows of the corridor. They will come again, she whispered. And this time they will not fail. Jacob tightened his grip on the blanket. Then I can't stay here, he said. If I remain in this chamber, I'll be nothing but prey. I need to step out. I need to face them. All of them. Lyra turned to him, her expression caught between fear and admiration. You are not ready, Jacob. Your body is still broken, and the council has armies, fleets, power you cannot imagine. Jacob stood slowly, his legs trembling but holding. I wasn't ready when those assassins came, but I stood. I wasn't ready when the council glared down at me, but I spoke. Humans are never ready, Lyra. We act anyway. Her lips parted as if to argue, but she stayed silent. She saw the fire in his eyes, the kind that no weakness of flesh could extinguish. Jacob stepped closer to her. You told me of the hidden war, of shadows eating worlds, and yet the council wastes its time fearing me. If I walk away, if I hide, then I am no better than them. Lyra's voice grew sharp. And if you stand against them, they will kill you. Jacob smiled faintly, though his face was pale with exhaustion. Maybe, but they'll remember me. They'll know a human refused to bow, and that memory will spread. That's enough to start something they cannot stop. The weight of his words hung between them. Lyra's shoulders slumped slightly, and she whispered, You sound like a leader. Jacob shook his head. I'm no leader. I'm just a man who lost 20 years. But maybe that's enough. Maybe I'm proof that even time can't break us. Before Lyra could answer, the door hissed open. Figures in armored robes entered. Guards of the council, their weapons glowing with restrained energy. The leader stepped forward, his voice cold. Jacob of Earth, the council has reached its decision. You are to be erased. Your existence a danger to all. Jacob's pulse quickened, but he stood tall. His body screamed for rest, but his spirit roared louder. Then you'll have to kill me standing. The guard raised his weapon, but Lyra moved swiftly, her robe glowing as she stepped between them. No, she said firmly. If you want him, you'll go through me. The guards hesitated, their eyes narrowing. One spoke harshly. You betray the council for a relic? Lyra's voice was steady. I defend what the council has forgotten. Hope. In that moment, Jacob made his choice. He stepped forward beside her, his shoulder brushing against hers. "I will not hide," he said, his voice carrying across the chamber. "For 20 years I was silent, but not anymore. You fear me because I am human. You fear me because we rise when others fall. You can erase me, but you cannot erase what I am." The guards shifted uneasily, whispers passing between them. Their weapons hummed louder, but none fired. Lyra glanced at Jacob, her eyes shining with something fierce. "You've made your decision." "Then?" Jacob nodded, his chest heavy but proud. "Yes, I won't live as their prisoner. I'll fight, even if it kills me, because that's what humans do." The guards tightened their formation, but suddenly, an alarm blared through the walls. A voice echoed across the system, sharp and panicked. "Outer colonies lost contact, Sector 12 consumed." The guards froze, their glowing weapons dimming slightly. The hidden war had arrived, and even the council could no longer deny it. Jacob's jaw tightened. He turned to the guards. "You see, while you wasted time fearing me, the real enemy was already here. Now you'll need me whether you admit it or not." Silence followed, heavy and undeniable. The guards exchanged looks, and for the first time, Jacob saw something in their eyes. Not hatred but doubt. Lyra stepped forward, her voice strong. "He is not your enemy, he is your chance." Jacob raised his chin, his body trembling but unbroken. "I am not your relic. I am not your prisoner. I am human. And if the galaxy wants to survive this war, then it will need more than fear. It will need what only we can bring." The chamber pulsed with the echo of alarms. The guards did not lower their weapons, but they did not fire either. They backed away slowly, leaving the door open behind them. Jacob stood in the middle of the chamber, his breath heavy, his heart steady. He had made his decision. There was no turning back. He would not live in silence. He would not let humanity fade into forgotten history. As the shadows of war closed in on the galaxy, Jacob, frail but unbroken, had chosen his path. He would fight, not because he was ready, but because he was human, and that more than anything, was enough to change everything.